do?
Have it turned on.
There's the plug-in right there.
You can cut up to it. Oh, yeah, there it is. You can cut up until the next part.
Yeah,
I can cut on the audio.
Here you go.
My pants are falling down.
Oh no! Oh no! Don't put that on the internet.
I will.
I'm wearing my cool underwear today.
Beautiful. Welcome to Two Dudes with Two. I'm Josh.
I'm Shae.
And I'm Wills again.
Our special guest for 2 episodes left. This is number 1 of the 2.
Yes.
If you guys clicked on this, you know what you're getting into. This is Christmas Tragedy. Now, because we're actually after Christmas, we decided that, hey, you guys made it through Christmas, so you don't have to worry about a Christmas tragedy happening to you. We're not going to jinx you this way. Maybe next year.
I mean, that's a long time away.
Yeah, the Lord's going to come back before then.
The point...
There's going to be a zombie apocalypse.
The
Nuclear wasteland.
Usually it's like in the first maybe day or so.
Fallout.
At this point, it'd be like over 350 days. I think the Jinx Law is just gone at that point.
Yeah. So
There's no ways on the last
no Coke for you.
No. You're good, dude.
You got that one again?
I quit.
It's just, you gotta suck it, man.
Yeah. See, like this one just...
Don't squeeze.
I'm new to this.
I'm new to do.
Anyways,
One new do.
so no Coke for you. We've all picked 3 or 2 each Christmas tragedies that we found interesting. Now, guys, we're not being morbid or anything. If we laugh, it's because it's a funny situation. And if it's like dead babies, I'm sorry if we laugh at that.
That's kind of my humor now, honestly.
I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things. You know, it's whatever. It's it's not happening to us. It was a long time ago for at least my 2, and I know his were not exactly yesterday.
Mine are years.
So
I think in the 40s.
Yeah. In the comment section below, there's plenty of room. You guys can put your favorite Christmas tragedies that we didn't discuss.
Your favorite
Christmas tragedies.
Yeah.
Dude, you know that one where that guy slipped on a present and died? Classic Christmas.
You can have personal Christmas tragedies that happen to you that you want to discuss. Maybe get some feelings out. Get your feelers out there and let us touch them. It is what it is. So we're going to start with Shae's. He's got one that he's going to do, and then we're going to go to him and then me. We're going to react to his because this will be the first time we hear his.
Yes, because I didn't look it up until literally 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Oh, you. Anyways.
Okay. So it is called the Christmas Cyclone.
Ooh.
Oh, nature.
It was 74, not 40.
I saw a preview for that, but I didn't read it at all.
When Cyclone Tracy made landfall in the early hours of Christmas Day, 1974, no one suspected a full extent of the damage it would wreak. The city of Darwin, Australia, had survived several cyclones already in the recent years, with the result being that almost nobody bothered to evacuate or even prepared their homes.
They point out Australia's always trying to kill people.
So everyone was complacent.
The consequences of this almost insane levels of laziness would be devastating. Under half a day, Darwin went from being a bursting post-war reconstructed city of around 47,000 people to teetering onto the brink of extinction. 80% of all homes were destroyed.
So are they blaming this on people?
Yes, because they were too...
Wow.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
They're blaming it on lazy people.
80% of all homes were destroyed. 70% of all buildings collapsed. And 41,000 people were left homeless and stranded in a storm-ravaged wasteland.
That's half.
Surprisingly, though, and thankfully, only 71 people died out of it.
Oh.
That's the good thing.
That's not bad.
No, for how
I mean, 41,000 displaced sucks, but 71 dying is
But obviously,
minuscule.
the psychological devastation was unbelievable. Darwin was wiped out more thoroughly than it had been during the Japanese air raids in World War II, and then, of course, on a single Christmas, an entire city had all but vanished.
Yeah, now when someone sneezes, they go, oh, that's not a cyclone.
I mean, at least it was a natural occurrence and they saw it coming, and I mean, they can still rebuild on the area, whereas where we bombed in Hiroshima, they still can't build there. No. They have to literally take soil from the ground in plastic bags and drop it off. So I mean, I somewhat agree with them. It was equal to the devastation, but not close to the lasting effects that Hiroshima had. Yeah. By the way, we were totally wrong in that. That was a little bit of an overreaction from us, but you guys, you kicked a big dog. You got to understand that we're gonna bite.
It's like that episode of Robot Chicken. You remember? Okay. It's like a little Hitler. It's like they're all sitting in the classrooms, like different nations are like children. And he's like, "I want the Polish boy's desk," the teacher's like, you can't have it, and like it cuts back every so often, and it's like Hitler's taking one more disc, one more test, and the American kid's sitting in the corner with like a burger on his chair with sunglasses on. It's not my problem. And then, like it comes back at the very end, and like Hitler has all the desks except for the little American kid in the corner, and a little Japanese boy runs by and like knocks his feet off the desk. He's like, now it's my problem.
Now we're involved. We actually had a Pearl Harbor episode.
Yes, we did.
In case you guys didn't know. But man, my foot itches. Yeah, no, I mean that is horrible. I mean, we had the same thing happen with well, not the same. Obviously, we had a hurricane happen to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And it didn't completely wipe it out. It just kind of
every
house was underwater.
41,000 people out of the 47,000 people lost their homes.
Gone. Just gone.
Gone.
You think the government would aid in that?
Not really.
You know why? Because they were too busy taking away weapons. I will say, mass shootings went down in Australia by 100% almost.
But then the crime rate shot up.
Well, the crime rate with knives shot up like through the roof. They're like, "Give me your gun, give me your wallet." He's like, "If I had my gun, I'd kill you, but I gave it to the government. Here you go. You got the knife. You got the bigger knife, Crocodile Dundee. He's a national treasure. You don't make fun of him though."
No.
You know, I think about the whole cyclone story.
What's up?
They say it's the people's fault. I feel like it kind of is because they got
When was this?
complacent. They're
47?
like, we get cyclones all the time. This is just another cyclone. They're like, hey, it's gonna be a big cyclone. Like, it's just a cyclone.
Yep.
Excuse me, teacher.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. I'm sorry.
This was 75.
Yes.
We have technology.
We have the power.
They knew it was coming.
They knew. And they were like,
Now-
yeah, we've lived through 6 before. Maybe 5.
I feel bad. Don't get us wrong. We feel bad for
Yes.
these people. And I think Australia has a personal vendetta to anybody living on it. Like basically fleas on a dog.
It's all sacred ground.
But at some point you gotta accept blame somewhere. Like, you saw it coming.
Oh, they knew.
It's like a California earthquake. It's like, oh,
We live here.
This one's
We
a
know it's
1.2.
possible.
This one's a 2.1. Oh, these aren't bad. Someone's like, oh, this is gonna be a 5-point earthquake.
Have you ever downloaded the Earthquake Monitor app?
It's kind of scary. How
Every 5 minutes there's an earthquake happening.
Yeah.
Really?
For real, dude. One day go and you guys too, download the Earthquake app if you're in California and just watch. It's horrible watching it.
Yeah.
You literally go, any moment we're off this continent.
And at this point, we just know, like, oh, 2.0. We don't even feel it.
Yeah. You know what's sad too is at any point we could literally just detach from America and we're like, alright. Like, what's the worst that could happen? I get beachfront property. By the way, that's what they think. If California was to detach in an earthquake, Shafter and Bakersfield all them would be beachfront now.
Nice.
Which is cool for us, but at the same
Prices of
time,
homes would shoot.
everyone's gonna die.
Oh, yeah. Properties would shoot. This house would be worth so much
The
more.
water level rises everywhere.
Yeah, we're kind of in a bowl, Kern County wise, so. I mean, I'm
So that
leaving
literally means it goes.
tomorrow.
Later, losers!
That literally means the water goes up over the mountains.
Yeah. Wills goes off the plane and looks down and he sees the entire just stage.
The guy on the captain. If you'll all look out your left side wing, California is currently detaching from America. We'll just be like, oh man,
Mother of God.
Mother of pearl.
Mother of
Sweet Neptune.
super
Neptune's
trooper.
beard.
Yeah. Wow.
My beard.
I didn't read that one because I didn't think it was that big a deal.
Yeah.
I was like, cyclone, that's not so bad.
Yeah, no.
You hear cyclone, you're like, that can't be worse than a tsunami or a hurricane. In retrospect,
It really is. It's about the same.
yeah. So, tragedy on a scale from 1 to 10.
I would say, okay, 71 people died. That's pretty significant, but compared to how many it could have been, that's way low. Especially since they basically stood there, come on, shoot me.
You won't pull the trigger.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
I would give it a 6 too.
I'm giving it a 4. Only because they had the chance to leave.
What
And
is
they
it?
chose against it.
I gave it.
Oh,
I give it a 6 because over half the population is now homeless.
Over
No,
90%.
It's over 90%.
Wasn't it like 80 something thousand? And
No,
like
there's
40?
47,000, 41,000.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It's your own fault.
Oh yeah,
Like,
definitely.
if California breaks off, I'm giving us a 4 as well because we were idiots and not trying to run.
Someone gave us. a
If Lake
warning.
Isabella breaks, we all have lakefront property in Shafter, but
Yeah.
Bakersfield's under by a foot.
I hate Lake Isabella.
So it's like, and we all know, and California knows that it's a bad bridge and it's going to go down. Just win. And nobody's doing anything about it. We had that horrible drought. We could have easily diverted water around Lake Isabella and fixed that dam. But no. They were more worried about the fish up north. So, California's screwed.
Like always.
So yeah, that's why I give it 4. You guys should have known better. Your turn.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah, your turn.
So that one was a 6.
6.
6, and a 4. Out of 30 points, you got 16.
Not bad.
Not bad. It's over half. You got a 51%. Or 53%, or whatever it is.
So,
I read what he was going to do because that was what originally I was going to do.
I have no idea.
I'm going to do the Lawson family one.
It's a good one.
So, the year 1929, Christmas Day.
Right after the Great Depression.
On that day, a 43-year-old
During.
man named Charlie
Before.
Lawson.
During and before.
He's just a normal average day Joe. He just snapped out of nowhere. He picked up a shotgun, killed his wife and his children, shot 5 of them at close range, and then bludgeoned his 4-month-old daughter to death. Then, he laid the bodies outside the house, hands crossed across their chests, out in his front yard. Then he just walked off into his woods nearby, blew his brains out. Literally, there was no motive behind it. He wrote nothing, left nothing, just did it. I mean, obviously he had to have something, but he just never said anything, never did anything. Guess they put him as like an average Joe. It's just crazy.
This is why.
Did you read any more about it?
Oh yeah, I read some of the rest of it.
That's it, because I know there's more, and it gets twisted.
It's,
As if it wasn't already twisted.
Yeah. Sadly, I forgot to screenshot the rest of it. I'm kind of upset now. But it's just, honestly, it's just weird.
It is weird. And honestly, I think the main reason is because that guy didn't share his feelings, you know? Kind of had all those repressed memories, you know? It kind of feels like it.
I do know this. He sent his son.
Oh, yeah. He sent his eldest son, Arthur, away before he started shooting.
So he's like, you go to the market. And so he went, and then Daddy went and got a shotgun.
Yep.
Parents say they have no favorites. Charlie
There was
Lawson had
obviously a favorite. Now, me and Shae had this discussion.
Yes, we did.
Was it his favorite, or was it the most hated? Because now the kid has to live with the fact that his dad killed his whole family and himself.
Except for him.
Except for him.
That is smart.
So it's like,
nothing about that.
Good or bad? Good or bad? I'm in the camp of good.
Good.
I didn't die.
Can you imagine living with that though? You're like,
Well,
oh, Dad sent me
You
this
would have to move away from that area because in that area they'd be like, "Aren't you the kid that Dad killed everybody except for you?"
Yes.
And then on top of this, his uncle inherits the house.
Oh yeah.
Inherits the house and starts charging people to come and look at where his brother killed all of his family. And now you're also the son that has to deal with that situation.
Yeah.
Like, I went and saw where your dad killed your little sisters. Thanks. There's still blood on the
Come
wall.
out with a t-shirt and a hat.
It's like, it's messed up.
It's messed
And
up.
the saddest thing is, literally, they have no way of knowing what set him off. There was no indications. There was no precursors. Nothing. They asked the brother. The brother was like, he was a normal guy.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is about most serial killers and cult leaders and stuff. He was a normal guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, he wasn't a normal guy.
Obviously.
There was something going on. Somebody was getting choked in that bedroom. I'm just saying.
He had to have some kind of closet full of like
There's something.
some weird voodoo knickknacks.
And this is why they have gun control laws. Because of that happened, he had a gun. Well, you know what? I'm gonna assume that if he didn't have a shotgun, he's taking meat cleaver to family.
Yeah. I mean, he bludgeoned his 4-month-old kid.
Yeah, he's like, oh, out of bullets. Come on,
Oh
come on,
man.
come on. I'm thinking one shot would have been enough for a 4-month-old, but emphasis.
The problem with like people wanting to commit crimes, if you want something bad enough, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
No one's gonna stop
If
you.
you're deranged enough, it's gonna happen.
If you plan something out a couple days in advance,
On Amazon Prime, there's a video right now called Rampage. I think that's the name of it.
Rampage.
And
talking about the
sounds
new
cool.
movie trailer for The Rock.
No,
Yeah.
no, that was actually a PS game.
Yeah.
Ooh, we gotta look that one up.
Oh, yeah.
But it's about this kid, and it's based on a true story. This kid was so tired of the way government was running and everything, he literally sacks up and he starts buying ammo for his guns. He buys a bunch of guns. He gets Uzis, which are illegal. He ends up getting them anyways. He puts on body armor that he made himself out of sheet metal that would deflect bullets at least a little bit. And he ends up walking down his main street of his town, just blowing people away. It's like, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. One way or another. There was no motive. He just was mad at the government. So he went into a nail salon and killed every person in the nail salon. For no reason. All women.
How? How do you?
Small town. Few cops. Blew the cops away, too.
Oh, wow.
They pulled up and he's AR-15s, body armor. They roll up. They don't even have vests on.
No.
And they're like, pull pistols. Like, oh, we're going to die.
Ding, 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 ding.
Obviously, it's a movie, but it was based on a true life situation. It happened in... I can't remember the guy that did
I remember
it.
seeing that movie, actually. Now that I think about it, I remember seeing it.
That happened on an island. I can't remember where it was. A guy just snapped. He started killing kids. He started killing parents. And he was killing people, and they were jumping off the island into the water and swimming into a cave just so they could survive.
Even in my maddest, I never think...
And you're an army guy.
Yeah, I'm just going to get up and start shooting. I don't really think about that. I mean, maybe I'm not crazy.
I don't have a... I just don't understand it either. But yeah, so on the tragedy scale of that one, and again, no motive, no understanding of why he did what he did. He just went off. They have theories that he lost all of his money and he was going to lose everything and he wasn't willing to do it. But then with that motive, why would you send your son away?
Yeah.
That's the part that really confuses me, honestly.
That's why they have no motive.
They don't have any life insurance. No. It all went to the uncle.
Yeah, the estate went to the uncle because he wasn't old enough to inherit the estate.
Maybe the uncle made him do it or something. I don't know.
I have one kid. I have another on the way. I have a wife. I couldn't imagine shooting my children with a shotgun.
No.
Because my brother was like, hey, you need to kill everybody and then kill yourself because I need some money. I don't think that... I'm sorry. I'd be like, sorry, Jake. You're out. Never talking to you again, by the way.
Hello, police.
Hey, Josh, can you do me a
I'd show up at his house with a shotgun.
Do me a solid.
But so it's like, yeah, I don't understand, you know. But no on the tragedy... And what day was that? Was that Christmas Eve? That
Christmas Day, 1929.
Crazy scale. Tragedy scale. 1 out of 10.
Okay, the issue with the tragedy scale is not really like a tragedy to anyone else besides the Major family.
Yeah. Okay, to the kid that got sent out, that's like a 10.
Yeah, that's like
for the town, like, oh, one of our average Joes was a crazy person.
Probably like a 5.
How do we know? Yeah, maybe like a 5. But like
just think of the county, like, oh.
Again, I bring into the fact that those other people that were killed, they had no chance of knowing what was going to happen. It was just done.
Yeah.
You just heard shotgun go off. You're like,
Daddy!
Like, I hear a gun go off.
Daddy, you're home.
Yeah, it's just like he had just got home too.
Yeah.
Hey, so, Dad, where did Arthur go? I sent him to the store.
Arthur.
Poor Arthur.
I don't know.
It's hard to rate that tragedy scale because
I rank it at 6 because just nobody could know it and it was a snap moment. And,
yeah.
And it shook the whole.
I also
area.
I'm crazy how he just went out and just put him out there like ready for burial.
Yeah, he's like, and now it's finished, and I'll just go ahead and pull you out and put your hands right over your bullet holes.
Yeah, how did no one like come out of the? He
And
must
by
have
the
lived
way,
in the country or something.
So he bludgeons the baby and then goes and shoots himself. So he wasn't out of ammo yet.
No.
Yeah.
So why did he bludgeon the baby?
Just felt like
couldn't feel like shooting it. Wanted to punch a baby in the face.
I mean, that's even more deranged.
So I think it's 6. I think 6.
It's hard to rank it in the scale of wow, that's really messed up. Yes, but as a tragedy, I don't think it goes that far. That's the issue with our tragedy scale.
Yeah, it doesn't affect a whole lot of people besides
maybe like 30 people.
Your call.
I'm gonna give it a 2. Now, if I was I was a person, it'd be really high, like ridiculously high. But how it is as a tragedy, not that high.
I'm gonna give it a. See, yeah, it's really difficult. I'm gonna say 5, just in the middle.
13.
Oh.
Not bad.
I couldn't rate it high because it's not really.
Now this one I think will tip the scales a little bit. This was there was no name for it. They just called it the Christmas tragedy.
Ooh, it's number 1.
The Charlie Brown.
Well, actually, it was the I think it's the Italian. Yeah, the Italian dance hall tragedy of Christmas. So this was the headline: when 59 children died on Christmas Eve, 1913, the world cried with the town of Calumet, Michigan. This was happening in America.
Michigan.
So in July 1993, over 7,000 miners struck the C&H Copper Mining Company in Calumet. I'm just going to say Michigan, okay?
Alright, fair enough.
Now I'm going to jump through the story because it was a long story. Eventually, the strikers start demanding pay raises and to end child labor and safer conditions, including an end to one-man drilling operations. So what was happening was the mining companies were trying to save a bunch of money, so they're sending one guys down to drill out the copper. They were sending kids in and stuff. Which mining owners didn't want because support. Oh, also they wanted to start putting in support beams in the mines because cave-ins.
It's heavy.
Well, cave-ins.
Yeah.
Like they weren't putting support beams in, and this is the reason. Mining owners didn't want to put support beams in because they were costly. But when miners were killed in cave-ins, it didn't cost them anything. They literally lost no money if a miner died.
That's messed up.
That's messed up. So 6 months without, and then they went on strike because of this.
Yes, I would
So
expect
7,000 people went on strike. 6 months without work left many miner families with little food for the holidays and no money for presents. So the Ladies Auxiliary of the Western Federation of Miners held a Christmas party for the kids. 500 children and 200 adults showed up that Christmas day.
That sounds nice.
Well, Christmas Eve, 1913.
That's very nice.
Very nice. It was held on the second floor of the Italian Hall. The only way in and out was a very steep stairway. Okay, so when you walked in, it was on the second floor. You had to go up a very steep stairway. Which, if you know old buildings, that's just how they built them. They didn't understand the whole degrading. Like if you fell down a steep stairway, you could die. In all, 73 people, and this is a little further. During this party, the children are dancing. Everyone started dancing. Everyone was having food, and they were having a good time. Some people left. Of the 200 adults and 500 children, some of them left. But most of them stayed and went up to the front of the stage and got presents. The only present they'd probably receive all year.
Oh yeah.
So it was a really happy time of the celebration. During this festivities, someone comes in, opens the doors downstairs, and this is why you don't ever scream fire in a building. They yell from downstairs, "Fire!" One of the ladies is like, "No, there's no fire." And two more guys yell fire again. So people start to panic. What these guys did was they closed the doors and barred it. As people started running, going downstairs, dads holding their kids, they'd hit the door and couldn't get out. So then it started piling up, and then people started falling, and so trampling started happening. In all, 73 people, including 59 children, died. Most of them Finnish immigrants. The youngest was Raphael Lesner, 2.5 years of age, 2.5. And the oldest was Kate Pittentar, 66 years old. Some families lost all of their children. So on this eve, 73 people died because some idiot yelled fire and then locked the doors so nobody could get out. People trampled children and everything.
Did they ever catch the guy?
They have no idea who they were. There is inquiries to think that they were hired by the mining companies to disturb the party.
Yeah.
Just so they wouldn't have a good time because they're on strike.
Wow.
So, imagine that your kid was trampled to death right beside you.
I'm just imagining the whole company thing because I like that idea more. That actually does tip the tragedy scale up a little bit more.
Well, they have no idea. That's the problem. So it's just
I would like to think it was the company. Add the more interesting depth to the story.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could tell you what it was, but
that's
pretty
really
jacked up.
Time to go to the time machine.
That's really depressing because it's like,
and
it's like okay, workers are on strike. They have no money. The women are like, hey, let's get all the kids together, get all the families together. We'll have a nice. I assume they had like a little banquet.
They had food.
Like bring your own food kind of thing.
It was a party.
It was a potluck.
It was a Christmas Eve party. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, hey, brought presents for your kids. Awesome. Oh, Daddy, look, a pony. It's like and then fire. Oh, God, we gotta get out of here.
And they have pictures of the hall too. There's a bunch of tables turned over. There's chairs turned over. You can see that people were streaming, trying to get out of that, going down steep stairs.
I understand people panicking, like those kinds of things.
That's why they always yell. They say don't yell fire in a fire situation. You just gotta start pulling people out slowly.
Yeah.
This is a main cause.
It went from really nice and sweet to just dead kids.
That's
59 children killed.
It goes back to
old ladies.
To Will's story. It was just straight up tragedy. This one they did so. It was bad. Then it got good. Then it got bad again.
They got
build you up just to tear you down, and not only that, but it ruined the town.
Oh yeah.
And then, I didn't mention, but after this whole thing went away, months later, the mining companies pulled out of town. Didn't give anybody jobs. So those who were left still didn't have a job.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm gonna give that one a 7.
Screwed up.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 also.
Yeah. I mean, it was wrong. 7. 21.
That's what high.
It's messed up. So Shae, you have a second one?
I do have a second one.
So guys, don't yell fire, please. Thank you.
Surprising fact of the day: fire is not good for you.
Fire.
If only we would have known sooner.
The wheel.
All right. So you might ironically think this is funny, but not funny. But mine's another Earth-related tragedy.
Oh.
It has a
Natural
Earthquake.
disasters. Okay.
Ooh, earthquakes, California.
Is it in California?
Probably not.
No.
We did have a really bad
Yeah,
one in
right.
California, but it wasn't on Christmas.
Okay, this is how the story goes. Remember the fate of Darwin up there, wiped out by the matter of hours of a devastating cyclone? Well, it has nothing on the Iranian city of Bam. Around 2 in the morning.
Bam! Oh, sorry.
Did not expect that.
You killed the spike meter.
That might be the highest spike we've ever had.
Freaked me out too.
Go away!
Bam!
He flipped!
Little short story. I actually said that on my wedding day after I said I do.
You said bam?
Yeah, bam. At the time, it was just the thing. Emerald Lagasse, bam! I don't know why. Anyways, continue.
We're gonna have
Well,
to have
it has nothing on the Iranian city of Bam! Around 2 in the morning on December 26, 2003. Very recent. Very recent.
Okay.
Magnitude 6.6 earthquake struck the sleeping city. It lasted only a mere 8 seconds. In that short time, though, it did enough damage to kill 26,000 people, who most of them were crushed in their sleep, and destroy around 90% of the city's buildings. 100,000 people were left homeless, 30,000 of whom were seriously injured. On top of that, it was one of the biggest It was one of the single biggest earthquake disasters in history, and one of the largest even in the earthquake-prone Iran.
what California is known, what should be known in Iran if they're earthquake prone, is the first shock wave of an earthquake is not what's going to kill you.
No.
Nope.
The first one's bad and it will start to bring things down, but it's that aftershock that's going to destroy everything afterwards.
Yes.
So if you make it through the first one, you've got to get out of the house. You've got to get out from underneath things.
May I add, this place is where I live now. If the building doesn't fall down the first shake, this is a really good place.
I have a feeling this would be the safest place for you.
Yeah,
It's
Push
quite
that-
wide.
push that out. So I'm
Yeah, because there's glass.
kick it out.
Just shove it. Yeah, it'll fall right out. It's
Yeah,
nice.
kick.
But yeah, so if an earthquake happens, you're going to be in trouble in the first one. In fact, that they were sleeping, I'm sure several of them didn't even wake up.
they're probably used to it like we are.
I guess that's the good
Yeah,
thing.
because I was in Oklahoma and there was a big earthquake in Oklahoma. I mean, the whole college was buzzing. Did you feel the earthquake? Did you? I'm like, no, I slept right through it. I'm like, I'm from California, guys.
The only earthquake
earthquakes are normal.
I have felt to the point where I'm like, what is going on? Is like when we had that one like 100 miles out that was like a 5.5, and I just hear me and my grandpa were talking, and started just went to go outside to go get like a soda or something, and all of a sudden I hear the ground start rumbling. I'm like, what is that sound? And I just hear bing, 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 on the windows, and we're like, what is going on? And I'm like, I'm gonna get started to make sure she's okay, because she was like 10 or 11 at the time.
Yeah.
So she probably freaked out. She thought she slammed the door too hard, and it shook the entire garage.
What caused the earthquake?
No,
It was hilarious.
I fell out of a bed because of an earthquake. I was at my grandma's house and I rolled out of the bed because it shook me out of the bed. It wasn't a very good bed. And I walk out, I'm like, Grandma, what the heck, man? I just fell out of bed. She goes, you didn't feel the earthquake? I go, well, yeah, it shook me out of bed. That was an earthquake? She goes, yeah. I was like, I didn't even know that was what an earthquake was like. I mean, I just had them all my whole life, so.
Yeah. But just imagine,
that would just suck.
The day after Christmas Day, 26,000
You're
people
like,
died.
some people are
That's-
taking around their Christmas trees down and
Your
putting away
family's
presents.
Yeah, you got family gone, which I don't know if Iran does Christmas, but your family's gone, and then on top of that, you said what, 100,000 people displaced from homes?
Homeless.
If you make it, 30,000
30,000 of that severely injured.
Yeah, if you make it and you're not hurt, you've got nothing left. No work.
100,000 people homeless.
There's no jobs at that point. The only job is you get hired to replace the,
The
clean
only
up
job
and
is to
replace.
find your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next 3 days is just you frantically searching, hoping that it didn't die.
Yeah.
And you're hoping you're in a small house like this where
Yeah,
you
and
can
can you
survive.
imagine like all the people like looking for people for like ever?
And I'm assuming this town was a big town, so they probably had towers.
Yes, I would assume so.
Towers.
I mean, it was 100,000 people misplaced. It's a good sized town. Bigger than
Bigger than Shafter. So
Way
they
bigger.
probably have some tall buildings. They're probably all gone.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Bad one.
that's bad. Just for the devastating effect of how many there is, I have to give it an 8.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so many people involved in that. That shakes the whole Iran nation.
Oh yeah, that's a whole. That's like saying, well, we had a major earthquake and
Bakersfield's gone.
Bakersfield's gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a 9. Because that's literally just...
I'm going to give it probably... I haven't done this entire episode. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Oh my god. Decimal points.
Shae does that in every episode we give ratings on. He's going to give a point somewhere.
Hey, I was surprised you didn't say something when I just gave 2 in a row flat numbers.
I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to bring up the fact and make you remember.
Oh, no, I didn't.
What in the world was that spike? Was that this? Was that this thing?
Oh, it is. Crazy.
Wait. 3, 2, 1.
Mine doesn't do it.
Mine doesn't either.
Dang it.
You get the good one.
Oh, there we go. I just gotta go.
Sorry, guys. We noticed over here that there's spikes. You're like, why are you guys doing that to me? Sorry. William has another one, by the way. 8.
8.5.
8.5.
9.
That's the highest one yet.
27.5?
27.5.
Yep.
No, 25.
25.5.
I bet. Math is hard now.
Wow, that's high.
I didn't think it would do
William,
that.
you got something to top that?
I don't know.
This one sucks.
I don't think so. But, so, Christmas Eve, 1994.
I'm 3 years old.
Air France... I wasn't born yet.
Neither was
Air France Flight 8969 from Algeria was boarded by 4 men armed with machine guns, dynamite, and homemade grenades. What followed was a 2-day standoff that saw 3 people executed and the fate of 220 others hanging in the balance. So the hijackers were a member of a violent, militant Islamic sect, which I assume, ISIS wasn't at the time, but...
No, it's probably the
Al-Qaeda?
same setup that hit us.
Yeah, probably like Al-Qaeda. Pushing for establishment of a Sharia state in Algeria. At first, the authorities assumed they had taken hostages in order to negotiate. In fact, the foursome were planning to fly the plane to Paris and explode it directly above the Eiffel Tower. Wow. Killing everyone on board and potentially hundreds more in the streets.
That would have been horrific.
They didn't want anything...
That if they did that, that would be a 10 on me right there.
Yeah, Paris would not have a landmark.
Nope.
Literally, you see an Eiffel Tower, oh hey, it's Paris.
Yeah, even in Vegas shot, little Paris.
Yeah.
They didn't want anything in return. They just wanted to kill. The plan was an eerie foreshadowing of 9/11 and a large-scale tragedy that only averted by French special forces storming the grounded plane. All 4 militants were killed, but the death toll could have been fatal.
Dang. How many people were on board? Did you say 220?
220.
And only 3 of them died.
Yeah.
That's because they had to kill somebody. Probably.
Yeah, that was the 3 of the hijackers.
Probably staff. They probably killed 3 staff members.
Probably.
Probably killed the pilots.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
That's ridiculous.
Here's the thing, though. Why didn't they wait for them to get in the air?
Yes.
Maybe they didn't know how to pilot the plane.
Well, that's the thing. You'll never get off the ground if you don't know how to pilot the plane.
Yeah.
But if you get it in the air, you got a good chance of at least running that thing into that.
Yeah, I know it sounds bad, but if I were to rob a plane, I'm not going to get on the ground, board the plane, hey, everybody get on the ground, and then you're just stuck there.
You're like, okay, now what do we do?
Start the plane. No.
No.
Pistol whip. Start the plane. Now he's out. You
Good.
knocked him out.
Even if they killed him, they're like, well, we will let everyone go if you get us more pilots.
We've got 2 more pilots on this plane. He died. Don't make us do that to you guys, too. We're not flying this thing. Dang it, they called my bluff. Who calls bluffs? Who calls bluffs?
Honestly, in like the tragedy scale, that's not that high. People must have been shaken being on the plane, but
Oh, you'll never fly
yeah,
again.
only 3 people were killed. And I mean, obviously, it probably like 9/11 probably buffed their security a lot more.
You'd think, though, after this happened, we'd have buffed our security.
Oh, yeah.
Like, did y'all see what happened in France? We're moving the TSA up a little bit. Just a little bit.
But it was France, so America was like, that's
Oh,
France.
no, it's their problem.
They probably just surrendered.
Sitting in the corner. Sitting in the corner. Not my problem.
Not my
problem.
Of course.
Typical America.
That's my
Yeah, I'd have to give that one like a 1 on the tragedy scale.
Just because I liked how they said it was a foreshadowing of 9/11. I thought that was kind of cool.
I mean, it killed people, but they handled it before.
The intent would have been a solid 10 for me.
Yes.
But
if it had happened, this would be a whole different podcast.
Yes.
But I'm going to give it a 1 as well.
Shoot, if that actually would have happened, we probably wouldn't have had 9/11 happen to us.
No, we probably would have buffed everything.
Oh, we would have buffed so.
And they took out the Paris towers, man. We're not losing our landmarks, which we lost 2 of them.
Dang it, America.
In case you guys are wondering, there's a lot of people that say 9/11 is a conspiracy. There's a lot of evidence both ways.
Yes.
I will just say that. I have done extensive research, and I have come to the conclusion it's too hard. It's too murky. There's video evidence that's been tampered with. There's video evidence that wasn't tampered with. I just don't know. I remember I was only 10 years old when it happened.
Yeah, it happened in 2001.
I have no say in the matter whatsoever.
I just can't say.
I would give that though in the tragedy scale probably a 2.
So a solid 4.
Solid 4.
Well, whatever you give.
I give it 1.
So 5.
4.
No, I give it 1, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 4.
It would've-
Sorry, France.
Okay, I can't say it would have been cool. It would have been terrible,
It would have,
but it would have. Yeah,
It would have
changed.
changed the world. But I can't say for better or for worse.
Now, this one's not nearly as bad as the earthquake one. I did not look into the earthquake one. I should have. It's just the sound of it. And this is why I say I think Australia's trying to kill people. This one is the Christmas Eve train disaster.
Oh, yeah.
This happened in Australia.
Oh, I remember this one.
Actually in New Zealand. New Zealand is part of the fire ring, is what they call it, of the world. And it has a volcano. And it's a huge volcano. And it's got a big crater in the center where water pools up and melts and snow melt and raindrop and all that. And so in this situation, I'm giving you backstory before I actually read the thing here. The water had spilled one year and it was starting to gain back up, and they weren't really watching it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main problem here. I mean, they were kind of watching it, but they weren't truly watching it. They should have been.
Australia being lazy.
So at 8:21 p.m. on Christmas Eve 1953, the Wellington-Auckland Night Express plunged into the flooded Wagna. I practiced this before I said it. Waganhu?
Bless you.
River at Tangwa, in the central North Island. Of the 285 passengers and crew on board, 151 died in New Zealand's worst railway accident is the headline. That is their worst accident. It was the 8th worst train disaster of all time.
Wow.
The timing of the accident added to the sense of tragedy. Most of those on the train were heading home for Christmas, armed with presents for their families and friends.
Yeah.
Those waiting to meet their loved ones at the various stations up the line had no sense of tragedy unfolding on the volcanic plateau. Over the following days, searchers found many battered, mud-soaked presents, toys, and teddy bears on the banks of the Wagyu River. The weather on Christmas Eve was fine, and with little recent rain, no one suspected flooding in the Wagyu River. When a goods... I'm messing that up, guys, so if you know it, just pass up. Sorry. When a goods train crossed the bridge around 7, so this is a different train, they went over a bridge at 7 p.m. on the river. Everything appeared normal. No problems, no signs of anything. What transformed the situation was the sudden rise of approximately 2 million cubic meters of water from the crater lake of nearby Mount... Not even going to say it.
Wanahakalugi.
Rufu. A 6-meter high wave containing... 6 meters high. A little over 6 foot. Wave containing water, ice, mud, and rocks surged tsunami-like down the Wagyu River sometime between 10:10 p.m. and 10:15 p.m. All this struck the concrete pylons of the Tangway River railway bridge. So 7 o'clock, the one train goes across. This happens at 10, somewhere in between 10:10 and 10:15. Now, traveling at approximately 65 kilometers per hour, locomotive K949 and its train of 9 carriages and 2 vans reached the severely weakened bridge at 10:21 p.m.
That's what train cars are called? Carriages?
Yeah. At this time.
No.
As the bridge buckled beneath its weight, the engine plunged into the river, taking all 5 second-class cars with it. The force of the torrent destroyed 4 of these carriages. Those inside had little chance of survival. The leading first-class carriage, Car Z, teetered on the edge, basically Cart 5, teetered on the edge of the ruined bridge for a few minutes before breaking free from the remaining 3 carriages and toppling into the river. It rolled downstream before coming to rest on a bank. As the water level fell, remarkably 21 of the 22 passengers in this carriage survived. Evidence suggested that the locomotive driver, Charles Parker, had applied the emergency brakes some 200 meters before the bridge, an action which prevented the last 3 carriages from ending up in the river and saved many lives.
Wow.
So, here's how this all goes down in timeline. 3 p.m., train leaves Wellington for Auckland. 8:02 p.m., the rim gives way for the water to come out of the crater. 10:09, train leaves another railway station, the last railway station in between the two. 10:10 to 10:15, the train reaches bridge and washes away, or the water hits the bridge and washes away part of the bridge. 10:20, train passes through Tangaway Railway Station with the very last one right before they could hit it. They didn't stop. 10:21, train goes to cross the bridge and it collapses. 9 minutes later at 10:30, car 5 falls into the river and is swept downstream. 10:35, water flow has substantially subsided. Midnight, survivors start arriving at the camp hospital that they set up after they found out this was going on. And the only reason they found out this happened was a guy who was working at a gas station, essentially, was driving home, saw that the water on top of the crater was what had flown through, and it was all washed out. He knew there was a bridge for a railway. He went over to check the bridge, and it was gone. He saw everything that had happened.
Wow.
4 a.m. on December 25th, which is now Christmas, people start recovering bodies.
Merry Christmas.
In the morning,
That's a Christmas present.
Yeah. Holland rushes to the place and announces tragedy via radio. 9 p.m. that night, Queen gives Christmas broadcast, finishing the message with sympathy. On the 31st, Prince Philip attends state funeral for the 21 unidentified victims. Unidentified. They lost 21 people. They didn't know who they were.
Oh.
In the story, one person in train car 3, which 2 people survived train car 3. A woman somehow had gotten out of train car 3 when they were in the water and pulled this other lady by her hair out of a window and got her on top of it to wade out the water. The rest of them drowned. Train car 1 drowned. Train car 2 drowned. 4 drowned. Number 5 was actually the first, the passenger car. The people came in and actually pulled people out of the car before it teetered off. Only, I think, 1 person was left in it, if any.
Yeah.
That's why 21 of the 22 survived.
Oh.
And then the other train guys were all sick.
And then it went down and probably smashed somebody. The worst part about it is people, and it was the greatest coming together of community that they'd ever seen. Everyone in the community came and started trying to pull people out of the water, but by the time everyone got there, the people that would have been saved were already saved by people. So when all the community gets there, all they're seeing is dead bodies. They start fishing them to the side of the riverbank, and they're just dead. They're dead.
Yeah.
One guy went in to help. He was working on the train station, went in to help. He was actually washed out, and they never found his body. Gone. They don't know where he went. He was helping, and then he was gone.
Wow.
So, train disaster, train go boom.
I was thinking that the entire time.
Train
It's
go
so
boom.
wrong, but train go boom. Do you get that joke, Wills?
Nope. Black Ops
Black
3.
Ops 3 campaign.
Oh.
Train go boom.
Mark Lauer?
Thank you, Detective Stabler.
No, not Mark Lauer. Yeah. Stabler.
Yeah.
Anyways, pretty tragic. Shook the whole town. Many people lost their family, lost their friends.
Yes.
Once again, because of this, though, they built much better railway bridges, and they actually washed out a car bridge too, and they built a better carway bridge. So it actually ends up saving people in the long run, probably. But we lost 121.
The thing that gets me with all of these is that it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
So it's like, peace, family, love, presents, Jesus.
I mean, if we were just doing just regular tragedies, the Christmas adds tragedy.
Yeah.
But we're focusing only on Christmas tragedies. So of the Christmas tragedies, which is the worst tragedy, obviously, the earthquake is the worst. This one is a 7 for me, just because so many people died and 20, however many people, not even identified.
I'm gonna
one
give
person
this one a 5.
One person went to help, gone. Nobody knows.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5 because it is definitely a lot worse than the one that Wills did with the dad.
Yeah.
Could have killed a lot more people, and it probably struck the entire country. Yeah. But it's not 100,000 people homeless and injured, and like 30,000 people dead.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
I'm gonna give it a 5 though. It's a very
18.
bad tragedy.
So what we're saying is we really haven't given a 10 for this. Anybody's not giving a 10.
No.
It would take a huge scale problem for a 10 to show up, and we're glad that we didn't have a 10.
It's like if 9/11 happened on Christmas.
Yeah, the closest thing to a 10 would have been the earthquake. Obviously, we're not in Iran. If you were in Iran, you'd probably say, no, that's definitely a 10. That was horrible.
We might
didn't
relate
get
to it more
experience
because
it,
we live in a place that is very prone to
I'm not trying to insult anybody. It's
Yeah.
just like,
That's why we say, 9/11 would
No.
have been so much worse for us.
Yes.
Yeah. But,
I mean,
okay, I don't know if this sounds wrong, but stuff like that I feel like had to happen in order to get to where we are today. Like,
Pearl Harbor had to happen for us to get into the war.
yeah, because if we never got into the war, it just...
The war would have kept going. They say if America didn't join the war Germany probably would have ended up
Now it's my problem.
would have ended up going through pretty much the whole European Union.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys did any freaking research on Genghis Khan, but if he didn't die from basically sexually transmitted diseases, he probably would have conquered the known world. Him and his sons, because his sons doubled what he did.
Yeah.
So it's like, certain things just kind of have to happen to keep the balance.
Yeah. I mean, the greatest success is out of failure. So.
We haven't had a worldwide plague in a very long time, and we are overpopulating this world.
Very much so.
So the nature's going to keep fighting back.
Yeah.
It's the best way to put it. So everyone's like, well, there's worse tsunamis and stuff than we've ever seen. Why do you think? We're putting more weight on this world than we have. We're generating more. And literally, we generate 100 pounds a person.
Yeah. I mean, this is not like back in the older days where you had like the baby boomers and it's like people having like 20 plus kids. Oh, that's a normal thing.
See, I think that's where we made a mistake.
Yeah.
We didn't limit it anywhere.
I mean, the population spike was huge from 1960s to now.
Oh, it's been
we've
huge.
spiked up like 3 billion.
I mean, what, like the average American home is like 3 kids or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's like,
that's American.
It's literally like 2.8 kids.
I was just talking to a guy on Omegle about the world populations. I think America's not that bad. All in America is about 323 million people.
Doesn't China have a rule?
China now has a rule about that.
I'm not saying it's a great idea, but I'm saying it's an idea.
Here's the deal.
There's no right or wrong answer to that.
Yeah. There's a movie that just came out called Whatever Happened to Monday, and it literally touches on this fact. World population is getting worse and worse every year. We're going to run out of resources for the whole world. And what they ended up doing in that was genetically modifying all the vegetables. Well, when they did that, people eating the vegetables got genetically modified, and they started having more children because, genetics.
Yeah.
Not saying it would happen that way, but it did. And so they ended up having to put a population cap where you can only have 1 kid each. And there was still too many people in the world.
Maybe if you think about
it, whoever gets the smartest kid out of 20 people.
And that's what they were going to implement at the end. Yeah. They were saying that they would literally give you a test. If you were rich enough, you could have a kid. And if you had the means to have a kid, you'd have a kid. Otherwise, you could not have one. You'd be sterilized.
Wow.
It's like, it sucks, but we're getting to that point. I mean, there's too many of us.
There is a lot.
If you think about it, let's say they implemented that now. Wow.
I'm in trouble. I have to lose one of my kids.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
And they'd probably take the one that is in the belly right now.
Yeah.
They'd probably kill it. And people are so mad about pro-choice and pro-life. It's like, there are so much worse things in life right now to discuss.
At the end of the day, about abortion and stuff, it's your body, it's your child. If especially if you and your significant other said, yeah, we want it to happen,
Well, we're at 47 minutes, and that's a whole other topic we can go on to another time.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a plan I wanted to have a discussion about.
Yeah.
Because it gets...
You don't get to do the fun subjects.
So,
risky.
So we're going to end this episode here for Christmas tragedies. Obviously, there's been a lot of problems in the world.
Always
sad things. Sometimes it happens on special holidays, Christmas, Easter, whatever.
Thanksgiving.
Some people have lost their family to a heart attack on days like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And my heart goes out to you guys because that sucks.
Yeah, there was 2 suicides on Thanksgiving back at where I'm from.
That's horrible.
Crazy.
So,
Thanks
thanks for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing,
disliking, all that fun stuff.
Notification bells, all that fun stuff. There's links below us that have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Go ahead and give those a look and give us a shout out, give us a follow, give us a buck, whatever you got to do.
Give us a do.
Whatever you got to do to help us out.
I'm due for you.
Merchandise is on its way. Thank you guys for watching. Really, you guys just watching is what keeps us doing what we're doing.
Oh, yes.
If we had 0 views on all our videos, we would probably stop.
Oh, I would probably like Josh. We're spending like $120 on this a month, and we're getting no viewers. Nothing.
Yeah. Luckily, we're not spending $120 a month.
No, that's an overestimation.
Yeah, but yeah.
Probably around $35.
If we were spending a lot of money, we'd be like, we gotta stop. Yeah. I enjoy doing what we do.
I do enjoy talking about it.
Do. So.
Yeah. We made that joke way too much. That's why I kind of left. I'm like, I'm gonna stay quiet because I know you're gonna do it once or twice.
I know. Play on words are my thing. I like them.
I think that's good.
I think it is too. It's 8.
Okay, now you guys remember how to end this?
I remember.
I
did it last time.
Yeah. For 2 dudes would do.
And lightly food.
With friends.
I'm Josh.
I'm Shae.
And I'm William.
How do you do?
I hope another Christmas tragedy doesn't happen for a long time. How about you?
I thought you were going to say, I hope one happens.
Oh, no!
We need more content!
Oh, that's so messed up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not worthy.
See you guys later.